Hey y'all, what's up? It's Friday, so I'm gonna keep it black, but I'm gonna keep it brief. Happy Black History Month, everybody! Ooh, are you gonna do something special? She act like we don't do this every day. We not new to this. We true to this. But while I have you here, I do think this month in particular is a good time to talk to you about voter suppression. To remind you that Black History Month is just proof that everything Black people do is political. Think about it. Every act of resistance, large or small scale, every accomplishment, sit-in, march, has all been an effort to win Black people basic civil rights and freedom. And we love us some civil rights movement, especially this time of year. Talking about the Montgomery bus boycott, the Birmingham Children's Crusade, the Freedom Ride, SNCC, SCLC, the March on Selma. But family, in both casual conversation and regurgitating the historical significance of these events, we made the mistake of allowing acts of courage displayed in these demonstrations to overshadow something very important. The fact that these people were impressing upon white America Black people's intent to have a voice in policy and lawmaking. And there it is. See, a lot of Black people still don't like to get too much into politics because they either think it's too complicated, doesn't have anything to do with them, or that they have no real power or say-so in the matter. Not realizing the lineage of Black Americans that has existed for over 400 years to give our voices power at the polls. Come on, somebody. At the beginning of the Reconstruction period, the period after slavery, do you know Black people could run for office, lobby for new laws of protection, could vote? Well, you know, really just the men's, cause sexism. But depending on where you live in the South, you only saw about 10 to 14 years of this actually happen, while Union soldiers were present and available to offer protections to Black people who engaged in politics. But as soon as those boys were shipped out of there, by order of President Andrew Johnson, boo, tomatoes, tomatoes, I'm throwing tomatoes. The man who just wanted to pardon all the Confederates and get it over with, white terror and violence swept the Bible Belt to literally scare Black people out of office and out of the voting booth, so white people could seize back their political power. But during the Reconstruction period, Black people was Republican. I think the only thing that should tell you is that contrary to popular belief, Black people's voting rights is not a partisan issue, solely Democrat or Republican, but an issue of basic civil rights. Jim Crow was able to keep Black suffrage at bay up until the Voting Rights Act of 1965, when they were forced to abandon things like grandfather clauses, literacy tests, intimidation, and poll taxes. But now today, in the 2020s, they just found new ways to do it. Stricter ID and verification of citizenship practices, restricting early voting windows, reducing the number of available precincts, and then criminalizing the people who hand out food and water when you have to stand in these long lines because there aren't enough available precincts. Make it make sense, Brian Kemp. Man, y'all ancestors would be proud. And then, did you know that only in 3 of these United States of America do convicted felons retain their right to vote while in jail? That's in Maine, Vermont, and DC. 21 states restore voting rights once they get out of jail, but the rest of them, especially in the South, which retains a higher concentration of the country's Black population, and therefore a high concentration of Black people who are wrongfully imprisoned, they can't get their voting rights until they finish probation. And in at least 10 states, some of these people may not get their voting rights unless they receive a gubernatorial pardon. The Freedom to Vote John R. Lewis Act would have nipped a lot of suppression tactics in the bud. But guess what? It was filibuster. And do you know how in a tizzy you have to be to filibuster somebody's right to vote? To be prepared to sit up there for hours just so somebody can have a harder time voting? Somebody's scared. Tell the truth, shame the devil. Somebody's scared because our votes are powerful. Talk to them. And folks, regardless of outcomes like this filibuster, we can't get discouraged. Our ancestors sure didn't. We are grateful to still have grassroots activists combating suppression on the ground. By spring of 2021, Nsé Ufot, CEO of the New Georgia Project, helped to register over 500,000 Georgians to vote. Cliff Albright of Black Voters Matter is taking new age freedom rides on the blackest bus ever to encourage Black people to vote. Jasiri X of One Hood Media uses artistry as a form of education to empower young Black people to use their voices to get other young Black people to vote. But the thing is, we can't leave it up to them and then have something to say when another setback comes our way. Voting rights and political standing needs to remain of interest in our family, friend groups, relationships. Also, we can hold one another accountable. We can't let them run over our communities with policy all willy-nilly no more.